Some of us are blessed or cursed, depending on your viewpoint, with a nickname that somehow gets a Y tacked on the end when we're young. For example, I was, affectionately I presume, known as Billy in my younger years. That's probably true in the case of Tom, who was born in Ohio in 1847 to a family of Dutch ancestry. The chances are pretty good somebody had dubbed that lad Tommy. His mother was a former teacher. She educated him in reading, writing, and arithmetic, but Tommy actually only ever spent a few months in a formal school, instead learning most things by reading on his own and by doing some experiments in the family home. He did suffer through scarlet fever, which led to frequent ear infections, and that left Tommy virtually deaf. In addition, modern medical professionals who've studied his life say he had all the earmarks of somebody who had what we today call ADHD. And yet, by the time Tommy was 13, he was making a profit of $50 a week, selling newspapers, vegetables, and candy on the trains in Michigan, where his family had moved in 1854. The lion's share of his profit went toward buying supplies for his never-ending tinkering. He was also trained at an early age to be a telegraph operator by the father of a 3-year-old boy who Tommy saved from being struck by a runaway train. That training got Tommy a job on the Grand Trunk Railroad, where, unfortunately, he was held responsible for a near collision between 2 trains. On the upside, he began to realize he was a budding businessman. He won the exclusive right to sell newspapers on the railroad. With the aid of 4 assistants, he set in type and printed the Grand Trunk Herald, which he sold on the trains. When he was 19 years old, his skill with the telegraph key got him a job at Western Union in Louisville, Kentucky. He was working the Associated Press newswire. Tommy asked for and got the night shift there. That allowed him to pursue his pastimes of reading and experimenting when there was virtually nobody else in the place. But that didn't last long. One night he spilled some sulfuric acid. It seeped through the floorboards and onto the desk of his boss. When the damage was found the following morning, Tommy was promptly fired. And yet, it was less than a decade later that he founded the first institution solely dedicated to producing constant technological innovation and improvement. He would eventually get nearly 1,100 patents, and he would found 14 companies, including General Electric, because Tommy's middle name was Alva, his surname was Edison. He lived to be 84 years old before dying from the complications of diabetes in 1931. But there's no doubt most would agree his inventions, including the photograph, the motion picture camera, and early versions of the electric light bulb, were vital in creating the world we live in and enjoy today.